we just wanted to say thank you for listening to our podcast, Sipping on Zen and Juice. We have something very special for you at the end of this episode. Sneak peek, it's a giveaway. So if you stay tuned, you'll get to hear all the details on how to enter.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Sipping on Zen and Juice, Gratitude and Gravy Edition. Yes, we are talking all things Thanksgiving. Our funny moments, laughable, shareable content from around the dinner table, and all things that may happen or may go wrong on Thanksgiving. So, speaking of dinner tables, what are you sipping on tonight, sweet darling?
Tonight, I've got some tea, some passion fruit tea with some agave,
Oh,
and maybe a little whiskey. I know it's a weird combo. It works.
I had something like a tea and whiskey once, and I was like, that works very, very, very well. Tonight, I am sipping on yet again another Bing Bong because a bitch loves Bing Bong. This is cherry juice that's caffeinated, and it's only 40 calories a can. So it is muy deliciosa. So let's get started tonight. The first thing
Okay.
that we are going to talk about is the origins of listen to me, bitch. I'm back on I just had so much fun with the Halloween
Well, it's
episode. All I want to
because
talk about is Halloween.
Halloween, I can't believe, well, it's happened so fast. Like we were
It
just at
happens so
Halloween
fast.
and now we're here at Thanksgiving 2 weeks away, a week and a half away.
Crazy. It's crazy. So here
Well,
we
actually,
are.
Thanksgiving's in a few days. Sorry, it's in a few days. It's in a day.
Okay, here, I'll restart this. So, one of the first things that I wanted to talk about tonight, kind of like we did on our Halloween episode, is the origins of Thanksgiving. And obviously, there's a lot to cover when it comes to Thanksgiving. So, I'm going to start the beginning half of it. And towards the end of the segment, Corey's going to take us away with the other half of Thanksgiving. So, quick history lesson. When it comes to Thanksgiving, this took place in the year 1621 in Wampanoag. Okay. So this was in the United States. This was traced back. They had feasts back then. This was in Plymouth, Massachusetts. All right. The Wampanoag people were in Plymouth, Massachusetts. And when the Pilgrims came together with the native people, it was the first Thanksgiving. But that's not what it was called at that time. So basically, these pilgrims came over from the Mayflower the previous year, and they were struggling to survive in the harsh climate in New England. So the indigenous Wampanoag people basically taught them how to survive, taught them how to fish, how to hunt, like what herbs to use, how to plant corn and have like successful harvests in this type of soil. And basically, these two found like a new abundance and a gratitude for each other. And they would kind of have like a 3 day long celebratory feast. And it would include things like, okay, fowl, venison,
Wait,
corn.
fowl is rabbit, right?
I'm not sure what a fowl is.
I think it's like a rabbit. Okay.
It's a fowl. I don't
Okay.
know. So, and then beans and squash, because turkey didn't come into association until later on, when it kind of became a national holiday. So it's kind of an interesting thing that we've transformed in 1941. That was when the United States Congress like officially made Thanksgiving Thanksgiving. So really, it hasn't even been a national holiday for all of that long, to be honest. But I just thought that that was kind of interesting, because I'm very much so into ancestry and heritage, and I love, 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 love traditions. So, I would love to ask you what kind of traditions you have in your home.
Yeah, so I think things are a little interesting now. My holidays really revolved around my grandparents. So my Emma, so she is my abuelita, my grandma on my dad's side. She's still around. But on my mom's side, I was very close to my grandparents. And so like Thanksgiving and things like that, are spent with them. And my grandpa like loved it. But now just kind of like for us understanding that Thanksgiving isn't more of like how do I want to say it? It's different now. We're not like let's give thanks, let's do this. It's kind of like we all cook and we hang out. And my mom actually is like, has been bringing up like talking more about those that were the indigenous that were here before everything and wanting to like not necessarily like play like homage but like is more of like let's take in like remembrance of people. I is how I want to put it.
Yeah, a day of
Um
contribution and remembrance.
yeah, we still have like some traditions. I would say like in the morning we make like a dressing that's like been in my family for a long time. We have a competition. So whoever like seasoned it the best, like my grandpa would do one, I would do one, my mom and my sister, but now it's like my mom, my sister, and myself. Like we do it. And we make a competition that we'll watch the parade in the morning and the dog show. But it's normally we wake up and we cook. My mom, for whatever reason, wants to do it at lunchtime. Like ever since I was a kid, it was always lunch instead of dinner, which like makes my sister and I like irate. Um,
Interesting.
but yeah, it's like waking up in the morning and cooking, and then we normally like play like a board game afterwards. So we used to play like Uno and Yahtzee with my grandparents, and it was
I
super
love it.
competitive. And so we do the same thing now. And then we watch TV and veg out. And then I want to say the past couple of years, my mom's been wanting to like watch a documentary or something where we're like learning more about maybe a tribe um or something else. So it's Thanksgiving isn't really Thanksgiving as much as it is like we make too much food and can't feed people. But I will say one last thing is a tradition that we do, and I wouldn't necessarily call it a tradition, but we always end up like welcoming. We would either make food and take it to those that need it, but the past, like since COVID, we haven't really done that. But we do like open our home. So like last year, I had a friend and her daughter come. My sister this year
Aw,
is having friends that like people that don't have a place to go. Like we've always opened up our house for that.
that's
And
so
we've slowly
sweet.
been doing that again. But people always used to be over at our house. Like we'd have Thanksgiving, everybody would stop over. So we're slowly opening that back up. I don't know if it's a tradition, but like my mom and my sister are like, we want to feed people and help people. And yeah.
What
What about you?
like what food can you not live without? Really quick. Tell me that. Riddle me that. What
Mm,
food can you not live without?
Dressing.
What do you
Um,
define what you mean when you say dressing?
well, I don't know how to describe it. Cornbread dressing. It's like dried cornbread, and then like you add like some celery, some seasoning. It's like stuffing, but it's not in the turkey because I think that's fucking nasty. Um, just because
Oh,
I don't know why
so
you think
it's
it
the
is.
same thing as stuffing. It's you guys call I didn't that's interesting because we even call stuffing up here, even if it's not in the bird. Like it's
Yeah,
still stuffing.
I think that's like a southern thing. Like we come down here,
Mm.
we make our turkey, we make dressing, we
You
make
got your
gravy.
dressing and all your fixings, love.
Yeah, so I will say I can't live without that. Um, or cranberry like relish, which is like it's like
Blech.
cranberry sauce. There's no pickles in it.
It's
It's like
cranberry sauce.
I love cranberries. Oh, I love
I
cranberries.
like cranberry juice, but like, well, do you guys eat that dirty bird? That turkey, you eat that dirty bird?
Yeah, I don't really like turkey, but they
It's
do.
it's Personally, when I have children of my own, that bird will never be cooked inside my home. Never, never. Maybe a nice tri-tip. I'll make us some baby backs, but I'm never cooking that dirty foul bird in
Wait,
my
so
home.
then what do you eat at Thanksgiving? And what are your traditions?
Okay, what do I eat at Thanksgiving? Well, I don't like the foul bird, but I will put a little on my plate because I never want to be disrespectful to the chef. That's kind of like a big thing for me. Like I never want to disrespect the chef, so I'll always put a little. But whenever there's like a holiday event, I know to bring a little bottle of Frank's Red Hot with me wherever I go. So I carry
Oh.
a amount of my mini Frank's Red Hot, and then I'll go up to my fucking dirty bird and I go tap 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 tap, and then I go up to the salt and I'm like salt 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 salt, cracked black pepper, and then I'm like, okay, I can definitely get that piece of meat down my hole. But the things that I really love, well, I'm a whore for stuffing. I love stuffing, as you would call it, dressing. Not inside that because we don't want that foul, dirty beast anywhere near our dreaded. Our
Mm-mm.
no, no, no. Mashed potatoes is a must as well, and I don't want chicken
Mm.
gravy. It has to be brown. And if you guys want chicken gravy, have your fucking chicken gravy. But I will make my own individual brown gravy on the fucking side. I want a mountain of potatoes. I want a roll that is homemade on the side, drenched and stuffed with as much butter as I can, devoted in a vat of gravy with stuffing. That's all I preferably care about. Maybe some meats and cheeses on the side and a little
So
charcuterie board.
who cooks for Thanksgiving?
So, this is actually a pretty interesting revolutionary time in my family because it's like the first time that we're all kind of like back together and not separated. So I don't really know yet. To be continued. Previously, um, I will say the place that I had like the most memorable Thanksgiving experience was always my grandmother's house. But now I think like this year we're having Thanksgiving at my dad's this year. My sister's about to give birth, so she's not even gonna be there. So it's just like very, very, very chaotic this year. Next year it'll probably be at my sister's house. I feel like we have like all of our holidays primarily there or like at my dad's, but I get super picky about the cooking. So I try to write as much of the menu as I can. I try to make as much of the food as possible. Like this year, like for Christmas, they don't know this yet, and I'm gonna surprise them this. But do you know like those Dubai chocolate bars, like the pistachio Dubai chocolate?
Mm-hmm.
So I bought these little Christmas tree chocolate molds, and I'm gonna fill it with chocolate, like hollowy, and then I'm gonna shove the Dubai chocolate pistachio crunchy mix inside. And then once the mold pops out, I'm just gonna sprinkle it with powdered sugar and I'm gonna give them little trees this Christmas. So like everybody will get a Dubai chocolate tree for Christmas because we're not doing normal Christmas where like everybody gifts. We're doing like Secret Santa. So yeah.
Oh, I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. Like,
It
I
should be
know this isn't
fun.
a Christmas episode, but
It's a sneak peek for it
we do
anyways.
but we do that. Like, not necessarily Secret Santa, but we put a cap where like birthdays are kind of a big thing for us, and then we put a cap because my mom is really the only one who likes Christmas. My sister and I like don't. And so we're like, well, we have like a price range. Like I think it's like 20 under 25, under 20. And or we make gifts. Like we normally end up making gifts, but we do that in exchange, and then my mom just like wants to spend time. So my mom's thing is like she loves Christmas and she just wants to spend time together.
I love that.
So and it's great because part of the reason why I hate Christmas is it's so stressful with gifts and this and that, and I hate it. But I love that you guys are doing that. But
It's
anyway, what
very,
are
very
your
nice.
Thanksgiving? What are your Thanksgiving traditions?
So we don't really I have my own tradition since my grandmother has passed away. Because, like, honestly, like, the way that my family has morphed, like, traditionally, like, Thanksgiving was at my grandma's, and we would all just basically sit around. We would cook together. We always loved cooking together. My favorite thing was, like, listening to my great aunt and my grandma, because they're sisters, listening to them fucking bitch to each other. It was prime time entertainment. Now, Nancy, that's about enough of that. Well, Marion, now, Nancy, I told you to quit talking. It was insane. I loved their bickering. It was the best thing in the whole world. I loved cooking with them. It was like cooking in the kitchen was our love language to each other.
Mhm.
Serving them food, like no matter who the fuck what the asshole was that was going to show up to be an asshole that year, because God forbid somebody's in a fucking bad mood. Who doesn't matter
Mhm.
who somebody's going to be, but we stayed strong in the kitchen. So that was always really fun. And then us as kids, like we would play dominoes with one another and we would play Hungry Hungry Hippos. That was always really fun. And the game War, the card game. So that was really fun growing up. But as an adult, now that everybody has kind of like separated, like we'll go over to whoever's designated houses to like have a Thanksgiving. But typically speaking, everybody is cooking their own dish to like bring over to one person's house. I guarantee you, at maximum, we're probably going to pray this year. Like that'll probably be it. But after Thanksgiving is over, I'm probably going to go to my grandmother's grave, say hello, give my thanks to her, because part of a big tradition for me, because my grandmother loved holidays so much, has been just making sure that I visit her place of rest, and call to my spirit guides and my family during important times of the year for me.
I
So
love that.
yeah,
I love that.
it'll be nice. That
I
also
love that.
takes me into the next thing that I wanted to talk about, which you kind of already talked about, heartwarming stories. So I was on Reddit and I was just kind of browsing through and I was looking, well, what are we gonna, talk about? Like, what is like a really heartwarming story about Thanksgiving? And you kind of talk about how you kind of invite people in, and it's something that you're starting to get back into. And I saw this like lady on Reddit. She said, we did something called Misfits Thanksgiving. And it was for people who had nowhere to go, and people could bring something if they wanted to, if they didn't have anything. It was totally okay. And there were some families that like brought a lot to help other families, and there are other families that just showed up and had nothing. But I just think that it's really great to see people kind of
Mhm.
like, okay, like we don't have to be left side, we don't have to be right side, we can be human. Like this other dude that I saw, his family grew up super poor. And one year, can you imagine your mom saying this? He says, one year, my mom explains to me and my brother that we wouldn't be able to afford Thanksgiving dinner that year. About a week later, before Thanksgiving, there was a knock on the door. It was two Masons from a local Masonic lodge, and they had a big cardboard box with a turkey and all the sides for Thanksgiving. It wasn't fancy, it was stovetop, but the kindness, it was the most delicious thing in the world. Like, how fucking sweet is that? I love when people give back to other people like that. Like, it just goes to show, like, not every group of people only helps their own people. Like, you can give back and you can
Mhm.
help other groups of people too. You don't have to just say, well, this is my group of people, so I'm going to stick
Well,
to these people.
I will say for me, although like I have my mom, my sister, my dad, and things like that, there is still a gaping hole for me with my grandparents where it still feels lonely. And holidays are normally when people feel the most alone because people are talking about their family, they're talking about getting together, and all it kind of does is remind those that maybe have lost parents or loved ones or don't have, can't give, can't do what they don't have rather than what they do have.
Yeah.
And so I love those heartwarming stories too because I can say I don't like Christmas because I feel empty and I don't want to do it.
It's hard.
So I get it.
It is hard. Um, so those are kind of sweet memories, but what about like Thanksgiving fails? I mean, there's definitely fails when it comes to Thanksgiving. I found this one lady on Reddit and I thought this was too good to not share. She said, my grandmother thought she could save time by baking the turkey halfway at home, put it in the car, and finish baking at the other home. Everyone got food poisoning. Everyone. This was in the 80s before I was born, but my grandmother has become the family legend.
Oh
Like,
God.
imagine that. Like, how does that not click that, like,
You
you're
need to
gonna get
finish
some,
cooking the raw chicken or turkey.
it's the same dirty fucking bird. It's all like, how do you not fucking cook that? What? All the way? That's just like a
Mm.
breeding ground for bacteria to just like sick.
No, that reminds me, like my uncle used to make something called Scottish eggs and bring it to Thanksgiving, and it was the nastiest shit I've ever seen in my
What
life.
the
Like
fuck is this goddess egg?
it's a hard, you're gonna gross out. It's a hard-boiled egg. Okay, take the shell off. The hard-boiled egg is then wrapped in sausage that's cooked. So it's a huge sausage ball with an egg in it. Then it's rolled in some sort of breadcrumb. So you're eating it's a hard-boiled egg, then sausage wrapped around it that's like fried or
It
some shit.
sounds
I
like
don't
some
know.
haggis type
With
shit.
it's nasty and would bring it. Nobody would eat it.
That's so fucking
Nobody
gross.
would
Why
eat
would
it.
you bring that to Thanksgiving? That's nasty.
And wouldn't ever fucking stop. Brought it every Thanksgiving. Ugh.
That's so
Ugh.
gross. That's seriously so nasty. Speaking of nasty, I do have a horrific story to tell. There was one
Okay.
Thanksgiving. This was just actually a few years ago. Like I was still in my like mid late 20s. Um, it was Thanksgiving and the person's house that I was at for Thanksgiving that year, there was a turkey walking around the yard. Walking around the yard. They thus proceeded to say, "That's our dinner." I'm like,
You
you're kidding, right? You're like, that's a joke, right? And they proceeded to go out back, and the next thing I know, I hear, "Pow," and I'm like, no.
and they processed it at your house?
They processed it all there that same day. It wasn't at my house. I was at their house, thank God. But like they processed it all there that same day. They plucked the feathers and they deep fried that bird. I didn't eat it. Not a drop. Not a drop. Other people will be like,
I
you're missing
couldn't.
out on good juicy meat. Bruh.
I know a lot of people like to hunt, and if you guys watched our past episode about online dating, obviously every man wants to post a picture of his prize. Um, I would be so turned off. I would be so I would not eat. I would be gone. I would
That's
be like,
fucking
absolutely not.
disgusting. I can't. Like, don't put
Well,
that on your fucking dating profile.
something equally, well, I want to say, I think maybe yours was maybe more disgusting, but something along the same is I talk a lot about my So I would spend Thanksgiving with my mom's side of the family, where my grandparents are. She has three brothers. Needless to say, I'm really glad we don't spend the holiday with them anymore. I'm glad that's changed. But one of my uncles, he does have some, his name is Ott, and he has some developmental disabilities. And he's married the most crazy manipulative woman I've ever met. She's awful. Her mom has died like three, four different times. And when my sister started dating her husband, so I was like in high school at this time, and I think they had just gotten married. He came over for Thanksgiving, and we do not like Ott's wife. Her name is Anne. And so we were like, you get to sit with her. We're like, when she comes, because they always show up early, you get to sit with her because all of us hate her. She shows up in a Barbie helmet, like a kid's Barbie helmet. Okay. And
What?
our uncle, yeah, our uncle had called my mom like 10 minutes before they arrived and was like, please don't make fun of her. She has epilepsy or grandma seizures, and don't make fun of her. She has to wear the helmet. So we're thinking she's actually wearing like a helmet for somebody who's like epileptic, right? And she comes in wearing a kid's Barbie helmet that doesn't even fit. It's sitting on the back of her head like a yarmulke. And when she enters, the first thing she does is like, who's that? And we're like, oh, that's my sister's husband, John. And she goes, well, I'm missing half my tooth. You guys come over here and pull my tooth out.
What?
Yeah. Mind you, can't trust shit with this woman. She sits there, she goes and grabs pliers. And my sister's husband's a germaphobe. And was like, get your hand up in there, and grabs his hand with the pliers and goes to stick
Shut
it
the
down her
fuck up.
mouth. I swear. And we're like, oh my God, this is so fucking gross. And he's traumatized, but when my grandparents were still around, every year we always put him with Anne. So every year he had to talk to her, sit at the table with her, and entertain her for like a solid 10 years.
That's pure torture.
He's awful.
That's
Like,
awful. That's awful.
awful.
What the fuck? Like, how are you just gonna come to somebody and be like, yank the other half of my rotting tooth out of my head right now on
And then
Thanksgiving?
they did so I was in show choir in high school, and like we would like, I don't know, travel around, whatever. Mind you, they had money, so she didn't need to be getting like food from the food pantry, but she ended up showing to like one of the shows we did for people at the food pantry because she's always running some scam. And while we were there, she was wearing her Barbie helmet. And for whatever reason, our musical director said, you know, it'd be great throwing hard candy up in the air at people during the show.
What
I
the
refuse to
fuck?
acknowledge I refuse to acknowledge that I knew her. So just like picture this. Picture like Werther's original
Ow!
card,
Ah!
Jolly
Oh!
Ranchers,
Oh!
and
Oh!
throwing and having teenagers throw that in the crowd. All
You
of a
know that
sudden it
they be
sounds
playing it like a fucking NBA league
uh,
fucking
it's
dodgeball.
well, it sounded like rain, and you could hear it like pop off of her helmet.
No, you guys, she actually did it.
She wore the helmet. I didn't know she was like, I didn't know she was going to show up because she doesn't fall into this demographic, but she's running some sort of scam where people think she doesn't have food or whatever it is. So she shows up wearing her Barbie helmet. So as we're throwing this hard candy out
Oh,
into the audience, it's popping off her helmet, hitting people in the eye and the mouth because it's popping off of her helmet. And she's just sitting there like with everything, because at the end I think she thought she was going to get like free food or like a gift card or whatever, because she's always running some sort of scam.
oh my gosh.
We like acknowledge her existence to this day. Like my mom has denounced her, and she likes to call my mom sister, and my mom will cuss her out all the time, like, don't tell me. Like, I'm telling you,
Oh my
it was
gosh.
ratchet. Like
That's some
my
crazy shit right there. That's
Yeah.
some
So I would say
crazy
that's
shit.
like one of my worst, but also like favorite um
I don't know. I think that's
family traditions because it was always a shit show. And she was always going to show up with some story, some lie. Like at some point, she had a kid who got ran over by a car, but then the kid never existed like 6 years later.
oh,
Um, I'm telling you, there's some crazy shit with that woman.
she's got stories for days, eh?
Hmm.
Some people
But
do.
yeah.
Some people do. So we're kind of wrapping up the end here, folks. We are wrapping up the end. This is not necessarily as big as our normal episode. This is just kind of a little, hey, happy Thanksgiving. We fucking love you. So, as a way to do that, one of the things that we want you to think about as we think about it is things that we are grateful for. And this Thanksgiving, we are kind of challenging you to think of a way that you can give back. It could be a stranger, it could be to yourself, it could be to a family member, but in some type of way, we are encouraging you to give out a small act of kindness, whether that's a
Hmm.
handwritten note, okay, for somebody that's been there for you, or just a random person in the street that says, like, you're loved. It doesn't matter. Like, you are being challenged to show some gratitude back. And as gratitude for you, one of the things that Juice and I would like to do is a little bit of a giveaway. Um, so what do we think? Maybe like we'll have to cut this part out, obviously, because I do want to do like a little giveaway. Maybe just like a little handwritten note. Like I can take the stuff that I've got and just like send one out in the mail. But I think it's a good like a, you know, um,
Hmm.
do we want to do like one person? Like,
I would.
okay. All right. Let
Like,
me
what are the rules for that, though?
um like comment claim on this video, like maybe wherever it's posted. And I don't know how will we do that. I do want to do a little giveaway. I knew I threw that in
Well,
there
I
kind
would
of
say
randomly.
if they want to do a giveaway, I would say I would say you either have to, mm,
Like, share,
I
comment.
would say they'd have to like, share, comment on TikTok or on YouTube,
Yeah.
but anything else, like, you're not going to be able to find it. So I would probably say on TikTok or YouTube.
Okay.
But some people may not want to do it on YouTube because they have their own personal stuff. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know.
just I mean, if somebody wants it, they can get a little handwritten scrap letter from me with some stickers and it, talking about you can do this and tarot card that. And they're super cheap to send out. I think it's like $5 to send it out. So
Hmm.
as long as they're from the United States,
Then I
that'll
would say
be
that. I'd be like, I would say we want to do a giveaway. You have to be from the United States. We're gonna post a giveaway post that should already be up on our TikTok. Find it,
yeah. Okay, good idea.
comment under that.
So I'm just gonna restart from the so we have a little challenge here for you, and then as a blank, just we'll restart the whole thing.
Okay, yeah.
So we have a little bit of a challenge for you to this Thanksgiving, and we are encouraging you to do a small act of kindness for somebody else, whether that is a stranger, family member, friend, or yourself for neglecting your self-care. Whatever it may be for you, a small act of kindness, a small gesture, whether it's a handwritten letter for somebody that's been there for you or a stranger that you see and paying for their coffee. It's all about the act of doing something selfless for somebody else just because. And as a little thank you from Juice and I, we are going to be doing a little bit of a giveaway for you as well. So one lucky winner is going to win a handwritten letter from us, including a tarot reading and some other goodies. In order to be eligible to enter this giveaway, you need to like this video, share this video, and comment on this video. Okay? Just a little emoji or something. And by the time you're seeing this, we're already going to have a post up to enter this giveaway as well. So yeah, we just wanted to share our things with you. We love you. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for supporting us and being on this journey with us as we are on your journey with you. Thank you. All right. Okay. And then this last little segment right here. Do you want me to do the gratitude and the verbal / written affirmation, and then you can take over the Native American
Yeah, that's
heritage?
fine.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect.
So alongside of doing a giveaway for you guys, I also would love to take this time to bless with my guides and give blessings to my guides and just take a moment to reflect on things that we are currently grateful for in life. So I'm just going to take a few seconds to manifest the things and visualize the things in my mind juice. Get yourself mentally prepped and visualized as we go on our journey here. We are going to envision everything that we are currently grateful for. None of the problems, none of the chaos, just the things in our current life that we are grateful for. I want to take some time to think about that. What are things in your everyday life that you might take for granted that other people across the world don't have access to? For example, this video that we are communicating to you with. There are all of these different things that we need to be humble and appreciative for. The air in our lungs and the blood that pumps in our veins and the heart that allows us to beat it and the brain that allows us to think it. Sometimes we have a tendency to look too far out and the answers kind of lie within. So I just want to say thank you to my ancestors and my guides and Jesus, Lord, baby, Mary, Jesus, everybody up there, anybody that is supporting me and rooting me and my success and my endeavors. Thank you. I love you. Bless you. And same for all of you as well. So make sure that you are thanking your guides. And a little quick affirmation that I have here, you are more than welcome to write this down. I suggest writing this down at least 3 times, speaking it aloud 3 times, and visualizing it 3 times. I am deeply grateful for the abundance of love, peace, and blessings in my life. I acknowledge the divine presence that guides me and surrounds me with grace. With an open heart, I give thanks for the opportunities to grow, the lessons learned, and the connections made. I trust in the unfolding life, knowing that every moment is a gift and every challenge is an opportunity to transform. I am thankful for the divine flow of abundance that nourishes my spirit, and I offer my gratitude to all that is, was, and ever will be. And that is all. That is all you have to do.
I really liked that. I really, really liked that. I thought it was
You.
very mindful and very, very sweet.
Very mindful, very cutesy, very demure,
Very
very thankful,
demure.
very grateful, very, it's giving Thanksgiving. Speaking of, it's giving Thanksgiving. there are some things that are also giving that are not just Thanksgiving, and I would love for you to talk to me about them.
Yeah, so one thing that I wanted to make sure, and I have to put on my spectacles. Um,
Ooh, the sexy librarian
one
is coming out to play. Ooh.
Golden Girls, very grandma. Um, one thing that I want to be mindful of is I know that for some of us, Thanksgiving is um a holiday that we celebrate. I also want to be very mindful that being able to have this, there is a side of history that isn't very good, right? And that's talking about our indigenous brothers, sisters, and folks out there where there's been a lot of pain and hurt and suffering that still goes on and that did go on with the colonization of the United States. So I want to be very, very clear of the Americas, right? I want to be very
Yeah.
clear with that. And one thing I did want to mention and bring up is talking about how this whole month is Native American Heritage Month. And that some folks, um, throughout this whole month, it talks about how we're celebrating them throughout the culture throughout all of November. Whether it's recognizing history, culture, contributions, um, certain tribal matters that are going on right now. There are certain allies that also want to partner with Thanksgiving because, again, this is can be viewed as a colonizer holiday, but in turn, it also created a movement of something called Thanksgiving. And what that movement is are those that are choosing to not celebrate Thanksgiving because of the impact that it has on Native Americans in the United States, that they've decided that they're going to do things to decolonize the holiday. And so, in turn, what that is it talks about how we're going to connect with like our ancestors and connect with those that if you are indigenous or you do have native roots, it's talking about connecting with your ancestors, giving thanks, making sure you're spending some time with them. It's also talking about making sure that you give or shop from native artisans and native shops and native artists. You can also make sure that you're supporting an indigenous nonprofit, making sure that you're supporting those that are working through the movement to keep tribal land tribal and for them to have clean water and all sorts of things that are going on within their communities. Um, Reading up and being educated and understanding Native American culture and different tribal culture and understanding those that are around you. And then we're also talking about standing up and being an ally by holding space for those that want to talk or need to talk or feel like they don't have a platform or want to share how they feel about being Native American or Indigenous within the United States. And so this is a movement where it's talking about doing some not only self care for yourself, but also making sure that you support um, your Indigenous and Native American community. So we just wanted to sit here and acknowledge that whether you celebrate Thanksgiving or unthanksgiving, whether you feel like it's a colonized holiday or not, we just want to acknowledge you and hold space for you and understand that we're here no matter what. Um, and that we enjoy you and we're so grateful. And yeah, I just felt like
Mwah!
um just touching on that for a minute.
We love you.
We love you. And with that, we're at the
And
end
with
of our
that,
Thanksgiving. We're at the end of our gratitude and gravy, a thankful special. And
gratitude.
as you all know, as Zen and I are incredibly thankful to all of you, whether you listen to our podcast, share, like, whether you get a reading with either of us, or you just pop in and say hi. We are so thankful for all the support that we get throughout year long. And just because we're taking a moment to say it doesn't mean that we're not always grateful. Um, Please stay tuned because I think you guys will be listening to part two of our love episode. If not, you'll be listening to the first part.
Dun, 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 dun.
So either way, stay tuned because love is coming your way. And we love you. And until next time, mwah,
Until next time, love you. Bye.
it's time. Just kidding. I'm not Mariah Carey, but it is giveaway time. So get excited. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. It really means a lot. It was short but sweet. And Zen and I are so thankful to all of you that interact with us and interact with the podcast, have shared it with friends, or even just, giving it a listen. It truly, truly means the world to us. And as a small token of thanks, we are doing a little giveaway. So here's how you have to enter. If you aren't already following us on TikTok, you need to do so. You can find us at Zen and Juice Podcast or at Sippin' on Zen and Juice Podcast. On the page, you will find a pinned video called Thanks Giveaway. You must be following us. You must like and share the pinned video called Thanks Giveaway and comment either blessing box on that pinned video or share with us your Thanksgiving season specialties and or memories. Now don't worry, all of that information is on the pinned video, but you must interact with it and then we will be giving one of you lucky listeners a little gifty. Now, if you're listening to us from the future, so let's say this is 2025 and you're listening to this episode, unfortunately the giveaway is closed, but that doesn't mean that we aren't doing more in the future. So stay tuned. I'm sure we have another giveaway coming up. I hope you guys again really enjoyed this episode. Zen and I are so, so, so thankful for you. And stay tuned for our next episode coming in about a week. And it's all about love. So until then, toodaloo.